Today we have a windscreen replacement on a Toyota Corolla 2006 5-door hatchback. This has been replaced due to wiper damage. The windscreen wipers were worn and they have scored the windscreen. So I'm fitting a new windscreen today. As always with any replacement window, removing any stickers from the windscreen. Give the windscreen a thorough clean with good glass cleaner, and check that you've got the right part, the right glass. This one's a pretty basic one, so the only connection that's on the glass is for the rear view mirror, the bracket for the rear view mirror. So I've just got to check that that's the right one. Important to spend time cleaning the windscreen. Just cleaning any dust off it, any fingerprints, any silicone residue from the factory. And there's me just checking that the mirror connection is the right one, the right type. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 different variations, even on the same model. So I'm just going to check that the wipers are working properly before I do the job. And just remove anything on the windscreen. As I said, it's only the rear view mirror that's connected to this one, and the mirror bracket is the same, so we're good to go. Let's pop the bonnet. This windscreen's got a plastic moulding on it. Just remove the windscreen wipers. 13mm nut on these ones. To remove the wipers, you just flex where the elbow is on the wiper. Just give it a couple of pushes and it should come away, no problem. Occasionally we'll get a really tight one that's not been removed for a long time, and it's quite hard to get the wiper blades off. You just got to be patient and just spray some WD-40 on it. Just let it soak in, it should come free. Now I've got to strip down the scuttle panel, and there's a couple of little plastic clips, one on either side. Just gently remove them, they just separate. And there's half a dozen retaining clips into the bodywork on this scuttle. Just release them, they usually just pop out okay. Once that's done, just remove the scuttle. This one's a 2-piece scuttle. Just separate it, pull it out, put it to the side. Now I'm going to remove this moulding from the windscreen. Main reason, it's going to make it easier to remove the windscreen. Just gives me a little bit of space between the glass and the bodywork. I've got a spare. I've got a new moulding for this one, but it's coming off quite easy. I'm going to try and reuse this one. Always try and reuse the mouldings, unless they're damaged, of course, or perished. But this one's in good condition. So I'm going to try and reuse this moulding because it's already moulded to the shape of the body. So this one will just fit back in as long as I can save it. Just got to be careful at the corners because it can break at the corners here. If I can save this moulding, it'll save the customer a little bit of money. I'll just get a credit for the one I bought. Deduct the cost off the price of the job. I'm just giving the moulding a good clean with glass cleaner there. A lot of dirt gets built up over the years behind the trim, behind the moulding. Just to make you aware, this isn't a seal. A lot of people call this a seal that goes around the glass. It doesn't seal anything. It's just cosmetic. It's just a moulding. The seal is actually the urethane bond that goes round onto the pinch weld and onto the edge of the glass. And it's hidden with this black obscuration band that goes all the way around the windscreen. Now I'm going to remove this today with my cutout tool. I usually use the wire. A lot of people are using this fibre line now. It's pretty good, but to be honest, the jury's out on it in some jobs. It snaps a lot easier than the wire. If it gets snagged on anything, it'll just cut away. But I'm going to give it a go on this one. I think I just need to use them more and just get my technique down. So I'm at the passenger side, the left hand side here at the bottom corner. I'm just going to feed the cord through the urethane bead. Using the cord is really only good for using it with a proper glass cutout tool. If you try and use this with just the hand pullers that you can pull wire through with, you'll struggle. So for anybody that's going to attempt to do this as a DIY job, you're probably better using a cold knife to remove the windscreen. It's the cheapest option and probably the easiest option. I'll make a video for that sooner rather than later. The main reason we use these wire and cord is so it doesn't damage any of the paintwork. So I've basically pulled the cord through from the inside and I've fed it all the way around the windscreen. I'm just going to attach the end of the fibre line to the spindle on the wiper motor. Just take any slack off, pull it through for the inside. So we're nearly set up to start removing the windscreen. So we're good to go. Just taking any slack out of the cord line. When using these cutout tools, it's really important to get the proper angle, the proper setup of the tool. you've got to get an angle on the wire or the cord. You're basically pulling back on yourself. It's basically pulling back on itself. So I'm just using the ratchet to pull the cord. This is going all the way along the bottom first, and I'll just work my way around the whole of the windscreen, adjusting the tool as I need to. If it starts to get tight at any point, just stop. Make sure on the outside that the cord's not catching on any part of the bodywork or stuff, or it may just be getting to a thick part of the bond, and you just take it nice and easy so it doesn't snap. Occasionally it will, but you just got to tie it together again. That's the good thing about the cord. What if it does snap? You can just tie it together again with a couple of loops, a couple of knots. If the wire snaps, you've got to pull all the wire back through and start again, basically. This has just popped off the spindle, so I'm just going to tie it on a bit of the bodywork. Apologies for the camera angle at some points here. I've just got to lift my head up when I'm filming. So I've got to the bottom corner there, I've came right along the bottom. Now I'll just move the tool up to the top corner. And the ratchet is just pulling the cord against itself all the way up the side now. Pretty tight, coming around that corner. I'm just using my little plastic protection there, just push it in between the cord and any trims, just so it doesn't catch the trims and damage them. So that's the bottom and one side done. I could have used my cold knife on this for cutting it from the outside. It would have been a lot quicker. There's quite a decent gap between the glass and the bodywork once you've taken the moulding out. So there's minimal risk to damage the paintwork using the cold knife, but I just wanted to use this tool and the cord. It's just a new tool, I've just bought it not long ago and I'm just trying to get used to it, so just getting a bit of experience on it. It's a bit tricky coming along the top here. I think the cord was starting to catch on the pinch weld, so I just had to pull the headcloth down a little bit just to watch the cord going along. It doesn't get caught. If it gets caught anywhere, it'll just cut. There's a couple of locating clips on this, on the top of the glass that I had to cut away. So we're getting there. Just keeping an eye on the cord that it doesn't catch this pillar trim. And that's it. Cut all the way around. And that cord will be reused in the next job. It's a good thing about the cord, you can reuse it a few times. Just drop the bonnet and lift the windscreen right out. So I've got my scraper chisel here with a fresh blade in it. I'm just removing the old polyurethane bond. Again, just being careful not to scratch the paintwork. There's quite a lot of glue on this one. I think it's had a windscreen fitted before. So just cut it all the way back to the body. It'll leave about 1mm on the bodywork, which is fine. That will reactivate with the new urethane bond line we're going to put over the top of it. And it's a good guide to where to exactly put the glue. Just one thing, when you're using any knife or chisel cutting the glue back, just always push away from yourself when you're cutting it out. It's sometimes tempting at certain parts of it to pull towards yourself, but it's pretty dangerous. I'm still guilty of it myself, but as soon as I notice I'm doing it, I stop. Just give it a good clean off. Give the dash a clean off, just give it a brush down. It's amazing how much dirt gets in behind the trims on windows over the years. Now I'm going to use some double-sided tape here and put it all the way around the edge of the sides and top of the windscreen. So I'm reusing the old moulding. Don't really need this to be honest, but I just like to make sure that it gets a good grip when you're putting it on. Once the windscreen's fitted, when the moulding's on, it's not going to come away. It's held in with the glass and the side of the bodywork. This just gives it an extra grip. So I had the moulding on my dash and my heater's on full blast for about 10 minutes just to soften it up. Quite a cold morning, quite a damp morning. So this is just a glass edge trim. The moulding just goes on the edge of the glass, as you can see. I was just looking at the sky there, it's looking quite dark. It was just threatening to rain. Next stage is white spirits around the edge of the glass where the bond line is going, just giving it a good clean. Just making sure that my the primer's going to stick properly, then the bond's going to stick properly. Same on the bodywork, white spirits, just give it a good clean. Very important part of the process. Once the glass edge is cleaned and the bodywork edges, the pinch weld is cleaned, a coating of primer all the way around the glass edge. This gives the urethane bond proper adhesion. And if there is any nicks in the paintwork, on the bodywork or on the pinch weld, this primer will cover it, stop it from rusting. But the main purpose for the primer is for the bond to take to. If you don't put the primer on either surface, the bond will initially take, but through time it will just start coming away from it, causing it to leak, or even worse, completely fall out. just put a couple of bits of masking tape on top of the glass. Once I lift it in, I'll just attach that to the roof just to stop it sliding down any until the bond takes. Get my 2 single lifters on. I'm just putting some more masking tape on the edge of this trim. It's quite loose, just so it doesn't pop off when I'm lifting it in. Now it's time to apply the urethane bead, a nice high pointed bead, all the way around. Got to get this bead right first time every time. If there's any gaps in the glue, it's going to leak. Really important to get these joins touched up so there's no gaps. I'm just putting the bead of glue over the old where the bead was before. And simply just truss the suckers, lift it in place, just guide it into the corners, can't go wrong. As I say, the old moulding that was on it just fits like a glove. Just gently push it all the way around, making sure that there's an even gap between the bodywork and the moulding all the way around the window. And if there is a VIN cutout, there's not a VIN cutout on this one, but it's a good guide to line up where the VIN plate number is to the cutout on the windscreen. Just remove the suckers. And now remove the tape on the sides. Once that's pushed into place, the bond line will probably catch the trim anyway, stop it from coming out, but it's nice and tight in between the bodywork and the glass. Just a reversal of what I'd done earlier, stripping it down, it's just to build the scuttle back up again. You basically just remember what you done when you stripped it down, and where each clip goes back in. Not much to this one, it's pretty straightforward. I think there's little plastic clips on the top edge of this scuttle that sit under the windscreen, and then you've got this rubber seal that goes along there, just plastic clips push back into place, holding it in. Just replace the 2 plastic clips, one on either side. And we can drop the bonnet now, the wipers can go on with the bonnet down. Now I've reset the wiper motor just in case it had been knocked for any reason. And you just flex the wipers back over the spindle. And just align the wipers as close to where they were before you're taking them out, and just hand tighten them up, 13mm nuts, not too tight. Put the nut covers back on. Just going to give the wiper blades a little clean with WD-40, make sure there's no dirt or grease on them. And just put the mirror back on. Just make sure the wipers are working properly. Once that's done, finally just give the windscreen a clean down. Just remove the tape. The windscreen's been in for a good 15 minutes now, so that windscreen isn't moving anywhere. It's a 1 hour drive away time as well, so the customer can drive this car after 1 hour. The glue probably takes a couple of weeks to fully cure, but it's safe to drive after 1 hour. I like to make sure the windscreen is spotless once it's fitted. Make sure there's no fingerprints or anything on it. Which there was quite a few marks on the inside of this one. I've given the dash a good clean down. Just give the pillar trims and the dash a good clean down. Almost done. I think I found a mark on the inside that needs cleaned. I'm a bit OCD with this. Just put the window back up. Keys out. Job done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.